One is the anthropological evidence, two is the significance of accent. Anthropological evidence. Some adults had been known to acquire an authentic accent in a second language after the age of puberty, but such individuals are few and far between. Anthropologist Jane Hill provided an intriguing response to Scoville's study by citing anthropological research of non-Western societies that yielded evidence that adults can, in the normal course of their lives, acquire second language perfectly. Sorensen reported that during adolescence, individuals actively and almost suddenly began to speak two or three other languages to which they had been exposed at some point. Moreover, the adult person may acquire more language as he approaches old age. The significance of accent. We can appreciate the fact that given the existence of several hundred muscles such as throat, larynx, mouth, lips, tongue, and others are used in the articulation of human speech, a tremendous degree of muscular control is required to achieve the fluency of a native speaker of a language. At birth, the speech muscles are developed to the extent that the larynx can control sustained cries. These speech muscles gradually develop in control of some complex sounds in certain language. For example, in English, the R and L are typical and sometimes not achieved until the age of 5. We all know that people have less than perfect pronunciation, but who also have excellent and fluent control of a second language, control that can even exceed that of many speakers. Perhaps in our everyday encounters with second language users, we are too quick to criticize the failure of an adult second language learner by nitpicking at minor pronunciation points or non-intrusive grammatical errors. Instead of being so perplexed and concerned about how bad people are at learning second language, we should be fascinated with how much some learners have accomplished. Cognitive considerations. Human cognition develops rapidly throughout the first 16 years of life and less rapidly thereafter. Some cognitive changes are critical, others are more gradual and difficult to detect. Jean Piaget outlined the course of intellectual development in a child through various stages. First is the sensory motor stage, which is at birth until 2 years old, pre-operational stage at age 2 to 7, operational stage ages 7 to 16, concrete operational stage ages 7 to 11, formal operational stage ages 11 to 16, a critical stage for a consideration of the effect of age and second language acquisition appears to occur in young children are generally not aware that they are acquiring a language, nor they are not aware of societal values and attitude placed on one language or another. It is said that a watch pot never boils. It is possible that a language learner who is too consciously aware of what he or she is doing will have difficulty of learning the second language, while adults have developed even greater concentration and so have greater ability for role learning. But they usually use role learning only for a short time memory or for somewhat artificial purposes. Affective consideration. Human beings are emotional creatures. At the heart of all thought and meaning and action is emotion. As intellectual as we would like to think we are influenced by our emotion. It is only logical then to look at the affective emotional domain for some of the most significant answers to the problem of contrasting the differences between first and second language acquisition. The affective domain includes many factors such as empathy, self-esteem, extroversion, inhibition, imitation, anxiety, attitude, and the list goes on. Some of these may seem at first rather far removed from language learning, but when we consider the pervasive nature of language, any affective factors can conceivably be relevant to a second language learning. As children grow older, they become more aware of themselves, more self conscious as they seek both to define and to understand their self identity. In pre-adolescence, children can develop an acute consciousness of themselves as separate and identifiable entities, but ones which in their still wavering insecurities need protecting. They therefore develop inhibitions about this self-identity, fearing to expose too much self-doubt. At puberty, these inhibitions are heightened in the trauma of undergoing critical physical, cognitive, and emotional changes. Adolescents must acquire a totally new physical, cognitive, and emotional identity. Their egos are affected not only in how they understand themselves but also in how they reach out beyond themselves, how they relate to others socially, and how they use the communicative process to bring an effective equilibrium. Making the leap to a new or second identity is no simple matter. It can be successful only when one masters the necessary ego strength to overcome inhibitions. It is possible that successful adult language seeds of learner is someone who can bridge this effective gap. Some of the seeds of success might have been sown early in life. In a bilingual setting, for example, if a child has already learned one second language in childhood, then effectively learning a third language as an adult might represent much less of a threat. Or such seed may be independent of a bilingual setting. They may simply have risen out of whatever combination of nature and nurture makes for development of a strong